Is 28 Years Later The Bone Temple better than its predecessor? I think that completely depends on who you ask. I saw the movie on Monday, and here is my spoiler free review. First, let me say that I absolutely loved 28 Years, but I think if you're someone who didn't like that film, there's a lot to love for you in The Bone Temple, and I think you will like this movie a lot more. Part of why I love 28 Years Later is that it was pretty experimental in its filmmaking and the way it was shot thanks to Boyle. But I know that was kind of iffy for a lot of people, and I don't think that this film takes quite as many experimental chances, but still looks great without doing so. And I do think what some people had an issue with the first one, some of the quote-unquote tonal inconsistencies, especially with the Jimmy showing up at the end, is kind of resolved in this film. I think it keeps a more consistent tone throughout the whole thing, and the tone in this one is a bit lighter because Jimmy is objectively a very dark, evil person, but he's funny to watch. This story focuses a lot less on Spike and his coming of age journey, and more so on the adults that are shaping his experience now. Namely, Jimmy, played by Jack O'Connell, and Dr. Kelson, played by Ralph Fiennes. One of my favorite parts of the film is that it definitely gives space for these two actors to act their hearts out. I think that Jack O'Connell has an incredible performance here, and it was nice to see him get an expanded role, especially after enjoying him so much in Sinners last year. And of course, I've loved Ralph Fiennes since I first saw him in Harry Potter as a small child, and his performance here is excellent. And while Jimmy's story, very simply put, is kind of showing us the consequences of following a cult-like religious structure that uses its religious belief to enact violence on other people, Ralph Fiennes' character is an atheist who has the empathy and the care for others that religious practices seem to want to teach us. This character's plotline also lets us have this very pro-science, pro-medicine, pro-therapy storyline that I absolutely love, especially someone coming from a mental health background. I wish all of my medical providers were as kind and calming as Dr. Kelson. When they finally meet on screen, we get one of the most entertaining scenes in the entire film. Like its predecessor, I do think 28 Years Later The Bone Temple is a beautiful looking film, specifically what they do in the Bone Temple itself and the scenes that involve fire. Ultimately, my biggest gripe with the Bone Temple is that it doesn't feel like a complete story. To me, the story doesn't necessarily feel like it has a beginning, middle, end. It kind of just feels like it started and then suddenly it was over after like this one really great build-up scene. That said, I still really liked the movie, and I am really excited to see how the trilogy ultimately finishes. I definitely recommend seeing this in theaters. It's a brilliant, beautiful spectacle.